guys, so today's video is going to be 2025 book releases, and that means I'm going to be talking about every single book release that is coming out in 2025. There are a shit ton of 2025 releases that I am so super excited for. I think that 2025 is going to be an even bigger year for books than 2024, because 2024 was huge, but we didn't have a Fourth Wing release in 2024. But we did have one book that pretty much took the romantasy world by storm that I will talk about in a minute. But we are going to be talking about all of the releases that I am so excited for. So I'm just going to start this off. I don't know how long this video is going to be because I have a lot on this list. I think I'm going to take off this one. I don't think I'm even going to get to this book. So it is what it is. But there are a shit ton of releases. So the first one that comes out, I'm going to try and do this in release order as best as I can, but it might start going downhill because I just ended up writing them down in no specific order. I just made a list on my notes on my phone. But anyway, the first one that I am so excited for that comes out on January 7th, 2025, and literally nobody has talked about this release. And I'm really surprised because the first book was like #1 on the Sprayed Edges like release special edition books for like a couple weeks. And I feel like basically none of the booktubers that I follow have mentioned this release, but I'm mentioning it because I'm honestly super excited for this one, and that is For Ruined Realms by May Corlin, and this one comes out January 7th, 2025, so this is going to be my first new release of 2025, and I am literally so excited for it. I really did enjoy the first one. So this one basically says the King of Yusan may be the greatest liar of them all. And the first book was basically about like 5 assassins that are supposed to be plotting to kill the king. And that's all you really need to know. I'm so excited for it. I really did enjoy the first one. I read it back in August and I'm so excited for the second book. So that is the first release. Then the second one, I can't remember who this is actually by. Maybe I'm just going to bring them up on Goodreads. I mean, not Goodreads. On Kindle. Oh, this one is by Megan Lowley. So, this actually also comes out on January 7th, 2025. So I am going to be adding this one to my new releases the first week of January. So I'm going to read this one literally maybe the same day that it comes out or right after For Ruined Realms, but I'm definitely going to be reading these two books as soon as they come out. And this one is, nobody mentioned this in their 2025 release videos either, and that is No Place Left to Hide by Megan Lowley. And her debut novel, That's Not My Name, I just read it like at the beginning of December. And I read it because Mads Rafferty is literally like the only booktuber that I've watched that has been raving about it, that's been hyping it, and she absolutely loved it. She gave it like a 6 stars. So I was like, I am so intrigued to read it, and I absolutely loved it. I gave it a 5 stars. It wasn't a 6-star read for me, but it was still an amazing thriller, an amazing debut novel. So I am so excited to read her second book. It was just such an incredible, well-written YA thriller. And this one says, I'm just going to read like a brief 2 sentences of like each book. And it says, to Brooke, image is everything. She works hard to maintain perfect grades, perfect looks, a perfect life, especially after the incident that threatened it all. Getting into her dream university puts her that much closer to a fresh start. How can she say no to celebrating with hanging out with her classmates? This is, okay, she goes on a drive and it says, this terrifying drive is about to bring out Brooke's worst fears if she survives it. So, kind of similar to like Riley Sager's like Survive the Night, and everybody thought that was terrible. So I think this might be way better than that. So I never read it because I gave up on Riley Sager. Like, I'm all here for YA thriller authors at this point, because I feel like they're sometimes better than the adult authors, because I feel like adult authors treat us like we're idiots when it comes, like, for adult thriller authors. I feel like, sorry, I didn't specify. It just annoys me. So, okay, so number 3, why did I think this came out January 27th? It comes out January 21st, 2025. And this is obviously my most anticipated, my most exciting book that I cannot wait to read. I am devoting, I don't care how much time it takes me to read this book, because will be my entire existence as soon as it comes out. And I don't care if it's cliche. I love this series so much. It is hyped up for a reason. It is so good. I'm absolutely obsessed. And I cannot wait for Onyx Storm by Rebecca Yarros. Yes, I'm cliche. Yes, I am a romanticy girly. I'm literally wearing my Basgiath War College shirt, all right? It has a toothpaste stain on it, but it's okay. That happened yesterday. We're going to look past that, but I literally wear this sweatshirt like every day of my life. But anyway, I am so super excited for book 3 in the Empyrean series. Everyone is super hyped and super excited and cannot wait for this release, including me. I cannot wait. It just says, after nearly 18 months at Basgiath War College, Violet Sorrengail knows that there's no more time for lessons, no more time for uncertainty. Because the battle has truly begun, and with enemies closing in from outside their walls and within their ranks, it's impossible to know who to trust. That's all I'm going to read, because I am planning on doing a re-listen of the first 2 books to be prepared for the third one, because I read the first 2 books back to back when Iron Flame came out. So I read Fourth Wing literally 4 days or 5 days before Iron Flame came out, and then I went right into Iron Flame, because I heard that the Fourth Wing cliffhanger was absolutely brutal. So I was like, I am not waiting for that, and I'm so glad that I didn't. But now we are waiting on Beckon, Call, and on Bated Breath, not Beckon, Call, on Bated Breath for what's going to happen in book 3 after that book 2 cliffhanger. So excited. Literally cannot wait for it. I cannot believe there wasn't a Fourth Wing release this year. It was actually supposed to be released this month. I think it was supposed to be released right after or maybe during Christmas, so people could get it for people as a Christmas gift. But it got delayed and pushed to the 3rd week of January, but it's going to take up my entire life when that book comes out. I literally can't wait. Okay. Then the next one, which I am very excited for this one too, because I actually read my first Hannah Boehm Young book this year, and I absolutely loved it. I read Out on a Limb, gave it a 5 stars, so I'm so excited for the interconnected sequel, because it's based on, I think, 2 other characters in the first book, and I think it's her best friend. Oh, it's her best friend's love story on how they fell in love. That is so cute. I'm so excited for that. I absolutely loved them in the first book. I thought they were so funny. They weren't just supporting characters. They just really added a lot to the comedy of the book. And I really love when I enjoy the side characters, especially in rom-coms, just as much as the main characters, because it adds so much more to the story. And that's why I made it a 5 stars. So the second one comes out January 28th, and it's called Out of the Woods. And I'm literally so excited for this one. So it gives me a full week to read Onyx Storm or whenever the fuck I finish it, but it's going to consume my whole life. So this will be read as soon as it comes out, because I should be done with Onyx Storm by that time, and then probably read another book, depending on how big of a book hangover I'm going to be on after Onyx Storm. I am so excited for this one. I actually skipped another one that comes out, I believe, right after Onyx Storm. Like I said, we're doing what we can. But it's based on her 2 best friends. of the main character in the, which is named, I believe her name was Winnie. It's a 5-star read for me, but I can't remember the main character's names. I'm pretty sure it's Winnie. So I'm just going to say that. Never mind. This book comes out literally the same day as Out of the Woods. I thought it came out for some reason like 2 days before that, but it doesn't. But the January releases are going to be in order and then probably going to go downhill after that. So it is what it is. So the other one that comes out January 28th, 2025 is The Crash by Freida McFadden. And this is going to be her next thriller book. I am kind of excited for this one. I think this one is going to be fun. I actually did enjoy The Boyfriend more so than her other books that I had decided to read back in October. I haven't really read one of her books since October. I only read her short story, which was The Housemaid's Wedding. I literally read that at the end of November. I didn't read any full-length thriller books from her in November because I wanted to read like some other books then. I kind of wanted to take a break from Freida McFadden because I didn't really like The Teacher or Do Not Disturb. But I am excited for this one. And this one says the nightmare she's running from is nothing compared to where she's headed. That's all I'm going to say. It's basically like a blizzard and she's stranded in Maine with a dead car and broken ankle. So it's kind of like a mixture of Never Lie and The Boyfriend. Because like, I don't know if people know this because I feel like nobody talks about this. But the more Freida McFadden books you've read, the more you'll pick up that Freida McFadden kind of drops little Easter eggs for her fans that have read more, or she throws back a lot of her like most popular books. She'll integrate like one-liners about like Never Lie in like One by One, or she'll make like a plot twist similar to like another book from her. The more books you've read from her, the more like breadcrumbs you're going to pick up. So sometimes she kind of does combos of like plots of her other books. And it's kind of a good time. I don't know. I don't take her books seriously anymore. So they're very entertaining and they do what they're supposed to do. But they don't really scare me anymore. So I think that this one's going to be good though. I have a good feeling. Okay. So now we're moving on to February, and honestly, there's not really much that's coming out in February except for 2 releases. The first one that I'm very, very excited for, I didn't really love the first one, and I'm kind of in the minority because so many people loved the first book, and that is Heartless Hunter by Kristen Sicilari, but it's only a duology, so I do want to complete it. Because then I will complete the series. So it's not like it'll take that long for me to complete this series. So the second book comes out February 18th, and that is Rebel Witch by Kristen Sicilari. And I do want to see where this goes. I think I have a feeling that I'm going to like the second book more so than the first book. I found the first book insanely predictable at the end. So it kind of like ruined it for me. I did give it a 3.75. Like, that's still a good rating. I just wasn't like obsessed with it like everybody else. I found it very predictable, kind of like a combo of like Throne of Glass and kind of like mostly like a cheap knockoff of Throne of Glass. Okay? Because I felt like the ending was very similar to like Manon's storyline in Throne of Glass. If you've gotten to that part in like Queen of Shadows, Empire of Storms, you know what I'm talking about. But I am excited about this one. I'm not going to read anything about this. It just says the stakes are even higher in this epic romantic conclusion to the New York Times bestselling Crimson Moth duology. So I am excited for it. I am going to read it when it comes out because, again, it won't take me any time to complete it because it's just a duology. And then I'm not really necessarily excited for this release, but I'm intrigued for it, or intrigued by it. This one comes out February 4th. I just wanted to talk about the Crimson Moth sequel, oh my God, can I speak? Because I am a little bit more excited about that one. But this one comes out February 4th, and this is Ali Hazelwood's new release, which is called Deep End. I am hoping to read Not in Love before I read this one because like I said, Ali Hazelwood is an author that intrigues me because I actually really did like Love Hypothesis, and that is her most popular book. So this intrigues me because it's a way different like premise than her other books. So I think I'm gonna like it. And this says, even though I didn't like Bride, I think that this is gonna be a fun time. And basically this is a competitive diver and an ace swimmer jump into forbidden waters in this steamy college romance. So I don't know. I just wanted to mention it. I think it's going to be fun. It's not like something I'm going to like wait on bated breath for and like read it as soon as it comes out. I think I'm going to wait to hear about reviews of it to see what like some of my favorite booktubers think. And if they like say it's like one of their favorite books, I might read it then. I think this one is called, okay, hold on. I'm spelling it wrong, I think. Oh my God. Why can't I spell this properly? I did spell it properly. That's bizarre. I feel like the second book does not come up unless I search for the first book because this book is so extremely underrated. I only heard about this book because I heard about it from my friend Monica Fortner. She read The Revenant Games and she mentioned it in her September reading wrap up. We talk a lot about books. We've been messaging like constantly almost every day about what we're currently reading. It's just so much fun. She's so sweet. So she did mention the first book, which is The Revenant Games by Margie Fusten, I believe you say her name. And it says that these are perfect for fans of All of Us Villains meets Kingdom of the Wicked. So I was so intrigued to read the first book after she mentioned it. I think I read it like literally and I picked it up literally a week after she mentioned it, and then I picked it up right away. And I binged it in like a day. It was so good. I loved it even more than I thought I was going to. And it was just such a fun YA fantasy, and I just really enjoyed it. So the second book I am very excited for, and nobody mentioned this in their 2025 releases, but this one is called The Hallow Hunt, and it is the second book in the Revenant Games series, and it comes out March 18th. I'm not really sure how many books are going to be in this series. So far, only the second book has been announced, so not really sure, but I am 100% reading this as soon as it comes out. I'm definitely reading this over, is this the first one that I've mentioned that comes out in March? Yeah, I think Crimson Moth and Deep End are the only two books that come out in February. I'm like... So this one says, Bly won the Revenant Games, but she lost everything else. And I'm so excited because I loved the ending of the first book. So you best believe I'm going to be picking this up as soon as it comes out. I cannot wait. So, and then the next one, which I'm not sure if this comes out in March or April. Oh, damn, that comes out in July. Hold on. Let's talk about the next one that comes out in March. Because I feel like those ones are a little bit closer between. And what's funny is that I just read this book, but this one comes out 5 days before The Hallow Hunt. So we're already going out of order, but it's okay. So this is book 4 in the Dream Harbor series, and what's funny is that I literally just finished The Christmas Tree Farm literally 2 hours ago, so I could be caught up for this one, and I think I'm going to like this one more already. But the next one is the Strawberry Patch Pancake House, and this is book 4, and there's actually 2 books coming out in this in 2025. I just want to mention this one as well because I don't think I wrote it down in my 2025 releases because I forgot that both books are coming out next year. So the first one, The Strawberry Pancake House, I'm kind of excited for that one. I think it's going to be cute because I didn't really like The Christmas Tree Farm. I think it was pretty bad. But they're just like short, fluffy rom-coms. So I just, I was kind of just cringing at some of the dialogue in The Christmas Tree Farm. So the fifth book is The Gingerbread Bakery. And that one comes out September 11th, which is a little bit of a depressing day for it to come out. But I think it'll be kind of perfect for that book to come out that day because I think that's all I'm going to be in the mood for. Because it's like one of the worst days in American history. But hey, let's read like a fluffy little rom-com. And yeah, I think they're going to be cute. I just like eat up the covers. And I usually just purchase these books on Kindle because they are so cheap. Usually they're only $5 on Kindle. So I've literally just purchased every single one on Kindle because I don't need to own the physical books if they're so much cheaper. Okay, let me mention the one that for some reason I put in my July. I put before Strawberry Pancake House because again this doesn't come out till July, and if I don't mention it now I'm gonna forget to mention it later. So this one is A Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping by Sangu Mandana, and this one comes out July 15th, and this one is kind of a interconnected sequel to the first book, which is The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches, and I absolutely adored that book. I gave it a 4.25. That book was just so cozy and just so good. I loved it. So I am very excited for this book. I'm probably not going to read it though until probably October. I'm going to pick it up in July. Let me not drop everything, but since it's a witchy book, I feel like it's going to be the perfect atmospheric read for October, and then I can read half the books that I wanted to read this past October. Next October, that might be what happens. We will see, but we will try and get to quite a bit of them before October. But anyway, very excited for this one. And this one says, it says a whimsical and heartwarming novel about a witch who has a second chance to get her magical powers and real life back on track. And then from the best-selling author of The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches. So very excited for that release in July. Okay, and then the next one, again, I don't think these are in any specific order, but we're just gonna bring them up and talk about them. So this one is actually from a author that is coming out with, this one comes out March 25th. Okay, so we're back to March. So I'm glad that I talked about this one before we moved on to April because this one still comes out in March. And this one is by an author writes a extremely popular romantasy series that I'm so excited for because we're going to talk about those two books that come out next year as well because she's having 3 books come out next year, and you best believe I'm reading all of them because I love the series that she writes, and I'm going to talk about that at the end because those are like some of my most anticipated reads of the whole year. So this one is called Summer in the City by Alex Astor, and this is actually going to be her first romantic comedy. I believe it's a rom-com, and I think it's going to be really cute, and it comes out March 25th. And this one says, a swoony, fast-paced rom-com set in New York City in which a screenwriter and a sexy tech CEO go from lovers to enemies and back to lovers again. So I'm excited for that one. I think it's going to be really cute. I really do enjoy the Lightlark series. We can just talk about those really quick because we're just going to talk about them now because they both come out in 2025. There are going to be 2 books, 4 and 5, come out for Lightlark next year. And she said, because she already had announced book 4, but then she said not 1, but 2 books for Lightlark are coming out next year. So I am so excited. I am all caught up with that series. I read the first 2 books back in April, Lightlark and Nightbane, and then Skyshade I just read in November, as like 2 days after it came out. I read it and I'm just loving this series. It's just so fast paced, so easy to read. I do not care what people say. I'm obsessed. I love it so much and I cannot wait for it to come out. So excited for both books to come out. Okay, and then next up, there are so many freaking releases on this. This is crazy how many releases that I wrote down. But like I said, there are a lot of 2025 releases, and there are some series that I would like to catch up with before these books come out. And I believe this book comes out in April, and I think I'm going to be caught up with this series before the 4th book. Because these are such short, fluffy cowboy rom-coms, and I think they're going to be a lot of fun. So the 4th one the 4th one called Wild and Wrangled by Lila Sage comes out April 15th, 2025. That's actually my dad's birthday. And I'm very excited for this. I think it's going to be a fun, fluffy time, depending on how I like the first 3 books. But a lot of people rave about these, and they're just like cute little palette cleansers that I think I'm going to enjoy just reading like one of these a month. I'm going to try and read like one of them by like February and then read like the other 2 in March, or like maybe wait till April. We'll see. Maybe we'll just binge all 3 before this one comes out, because I feel like this would be better to read like in the springtime, since it is like cowboy rom-com, and I'm sure they take place like in Texas or something. Or like somewhere in the South. So, yeah, I'm very excited. So it's the Rebel Blue Ranch series. So I just really want to read them. I think they're just going to be fun little fluffy reads, and I'm excited for them. So I should be all caught up with them before the 4th book comes out. Because again, they're just such fast, quick, easy reads. I've been so tempted to pick up one of them to see like what all the hype is about. But I was like, no, Caitlin, stick to your 2024 TBR and then you can pick them up later. Okay, this one does come out in March as well. Or you can pick them up next year, I mean. So there is one more March release. So this one comes out March 25th. And I do need to read the first book still before the second book comes out. And that is, it's literally right next to me. So the first book is called The Scarlet Veil by Shelby Mahurin. I'm usually pretty good about reading first books in series to be ready for the second book that comes out. And I read a shit ton of first books that came out in 2024 to be ready for the second book in 2025. There were a couple that I didn't get to, like The Demon Witch Guide to Fake Dating a Demon. I didn't read The Shadows Between Us. I didn't read The Night of the Witch for the Fate of Magic. I didn't read that duology either, and I'm dying to read it. And I didn't read the Hurricane Wars either, and that second book came out like a week ago. Did not get to it. But this is the first book in, what is this called? The Scarlet Veil series. Okay, this is just going to be a duology, so I should be able to read this probably sometime in March to be ready for the second book, because I'm going to tackle some big series in January and February. I'm hoping to read Shatter Me in February, which we'll talk about the new release for that in a minute, and I'm also hoping to read This Woven Kingdom in January, because the new book for that comes out in September, so we'll talk about that. But anyway, should be able to read the first book before the second book comes out, and again, it's just a duology, so that will be another complete series and for me. And this one is called The Shadow Bride. So this one says, a vampire and a woman who tried to kill him prove that love can conquer anything, even death. Perfect for fans of Sarah J. Maas. So I'm excited for it. I was putting off The Scarlet Veil because I had heard, even though I had picked up The Scarlet Veil without knowing this, because like some people's complaints about picking up a book, or like especially a fantasy book, sometimes they don't know that there's like a prequel trilogy that came out before that is connected to it, like Throne of the Fallen. You have to read Kingdom of the Wicked before you read Throne of the Fallen. You're kind of going to be confused if you don't. I know Angelica Nyquist only read Throne of the Fallen, but you kind of need to read Kingdom of the Wicked, but it's okay. Throne of the Fallen is one of my favorite books. Everybody knows that. I don't even know when the third book is coming out. Nothing has been announced for it because Throne of Secrets literally just came out in November. So I'm hoping the third book comes out in 2025, but we'll see. Depending on how the second book went, it wasn't that great. So maybe she's taking a break. Who knows? So I'm excited for that one. But also I had heard that you have to read Serpent and Dove before you read The Scarlet Veil. And then Monica Fortner, my friendo, she told me that you don't really have to read it because she actually binged Serpent and Dove and the second book. She said the first book was really good and then the second and third book kind of disappointed her. I think she DNF'd the third one. I'm not sure if she read it. Maybe she did. I'm not really sure. But I am not going to read it then if she says that I don't really have to. So it is what it is. Why did I just add something that I didn't need to add? Okay. So the next release, I think I'm just going to skip over some of these because I'm not really that excited for them. I mean, we'll talk about it real quick. I don't know if I'm necessarily going to, again, read this one until I see some reviews of it. I'm not that excited for it, but, you know, I'll read it if a lot of people are raving about it. This one is book 1 in the Stonewater Kingdom series, and this is coming out May 20th, and this is The Night and the Moth by Rachel Gillig. And if you guys didn't know, she is the author of the One Dark Window duology. The Shepherd King duology is what it's called, but most people know One Dark Window because that is the first book, and then the second book is Two Twisted Crowns. Very, very popular duology. Loved it. So good. Ate it up. I read it back in April, and they were just both so good. So I do really enjoy her writing. So this is the start of a new series. Again, not sure if I'm going to pick it up. We'll see. But if I do read it, I'm probably just going to read it on Kindle. And this says, it's a romantasy? Maybe I will read that. I'm just such a sucker for romantasy. And it says, a gothic mist-cloaked tale of a young prophetess forced on an impossible quest with the one knight whose future is beyond her sight. Okay, Rachel. Maybe we'll read that. That sounds pretty interesting. I swear, I don't read any of the synopsises, and then once I do, it's like, okay. Okay, the next one is probably, it is my most anticipated romantasy. Oh my god, my most anticipated romance of 2025. And this comes out April 1st, so see, we're already all over the place. So I'm telling you the dates. It is what it is. You'll know when it comes out, okay? You're only going to write down certain ones anyway, and then you can write down the dates, all right? So this one is Say You Remember Me by Abby Jimenez. Y'all know I will read every single book she comes out with. I read her entire backlist this year because I became completely obsessed with her writing. I love her writing so much, so I'm so freaking excited for this one. I cannot freaking wait. I might go into this completely blindly. Yeah, I'm not going to say anything about the synopsis because I want to go into it completely blindly. I absolutely adore Abby Jimenez, so I think going into it blind will be great, and also I think I'm going to be obsessed with it. I've seen a couple of mixed reviews, but I really don't care because I will read every book she comes out with. I will read her shopping list. Literally, I will read anything that she comes out with. I'm literally so excited. I cannot wait. Okay, then the next one, this one actually also comes out April 1st as well. So I really do want to read the first book before 2024 is over, because it is a 2024 release. It came out back in February, and this is also a duology. So if I read this one, then it will be another complete series for me. So it will be really satisfying to read all three of these duologies, which is, what was the first one? Oh, The Crimson Moth. The second one is The Scarlet Veil, and the third one is this one. So the first book is called The Tainted Cup, and the second book is called A Drop of Corruption, and is the Shadow of the Leviathan duology. Sorry, The Shadow of the Leviathan duology. I almost said trilogy again. And it's by Robert Jackson Bennett. And I've heard nothing but amazing things about The Tainted Cup, so I am very excited for this one. I think I'm going to love the first one because everyone that I've seen read it has loved it. And it is sitting on my TBR shelf, and I really want to read it. So depending on what I want to read after Christmas, because I have to read Games Untold, and then I really, really, really want to read The Nightingale, but it depends on what I want to read after Games Untold. So I might be binging some books before the year is over. But anyway, this one is the second book in the duology. And this says, basically, it says the eccentric detective Anna Dolabra matches wits with a seemingly omniscient adversary in this brilliant fantasy mystery. So I'm just so excited for this. I want to read it so badly. So again, I think we're just going to binge some books. Okay, then the next one is a very highly anticipated release for a lot of people, and that is Emily Henry's rom-com. This one actually comes out 3 weeks after Abby Jimenez's one, but there are going to be quite a lot of new releases in April. I'm going to be busy in April. And that is Great Big Beautiful Life, and this comes out April 22nd. Very excited for this one. The premise is a little bit similar to Beach Read, because it's about two rival writers, but I tend to eat up her books. I really do enjoy her books quite a lot. She's popular for a reason. Her writing is beautiful. Abby Jimenez is still my all-time favorite. Like, no author emotionally impacts me with her romance stories than Abby Jimenez. Like, her writing is just absolutely devastating in the most beautiful, brilliant way. But I am very excited for this. I am definitely going to be reading this as soon as it comes out. So I'm not going to, well, I can read a little bit of the synopsis. It says, two writers compete for the chance to tell the larger-than-life story of a woman with more than a couple of plot twists up her sleeve in this dazzling and sweeping new novel from Emily Henry. So very excited for that one. I didn't really love Funny Story, so I'm hoping that this one I'm going to like more than that one. I have a feeling I will. I just didn't really jive with the romance of Funny Story. I really did enjoy her previous books, though. Beach Read is like my whole soul. You guys know how much I adore that book. It's a 6-star read for me, so very excited for this one. Okay, next up is another romance release that I'm definitely going to be reading. Why did I forget the name of it already? Oh my gosh. So this one is called One Golden Summer by Carly Fortune. I actually read her entire backlist this year because she only has 3 books, and I thought that they would just be the perfect summer romances. I didn't love all of them, but I did really... What's crazy is that I loved Every Summer After. Did not love The Cheating Trope, though, but I do think that's my favorite book from her. The second and third one did not really hit for me as much as the first one. It was emotionally devastating, but it was the best well-written one out of the 3. But anyway, this one comes out May 6th, and I'm very excited for this one also because her covers are just absolutely stunning. It just makes you want to read them. And this says, I never anticipated Charlie Florrick. Good things happen at the lake. That's what Alice's grandmother says, and it's true. Alice spent just one summer there at a college with Nan when she was 17. It's where she took that photo, the one of the 3 grinning teenagers in a yellow speedboat, the image that changed her life. And this is, I believe, the brother from the first book. So this is like the first like interconnected book that she's written. The other 2 are not sequels to Every Summer After. People think that they are, but they're not. They're 2 completely separate stories from Every Summer After. Okay, the next up, this is probably one of my most anticipated releases as well. I am so excited for this book. I literally cannot wait for it. And that is, I'm so excited. I cannot wait. I guess this is a duology as well. I mean, it just says book 2 of 2. So this is the second book in the Wicked Games series, and that is Encantra. So excited for this. And this one comes out April 8th, 2025. If you guys didn't know, the first book is Phantasma. That book is 100,000% worth the hype. For me, that was one of my favorite romantasy books, if not my favorite romantasy book besides Throne of the Fallen and Quicksilver in 2024. I absolutely loved this book. So I am so freaking excited for the second book. I cannot wait. And this one just says, welcome to Encantra. There's only one rule. Never ever trust your heart. I'm going to eat up this book. It's going to be my whole life when it comes out. I didn't realize it comes out in April as well. I'm going to be so busy in April with new releases. This comes out like basically right after I am emotionally destroyed by Abby Jimenez's release. So this is going to come out at the perfect time, and I'm 100,000% reading this as soon as it comes out. The first week of April is going to be freaking fantastic because it's like 2 of my most anticipated reads for 2025. So I literally cannot wait. Okay, next up, I'm not even sure what this one is, to be honest. Who is this by? Oh. This one also comes out April 1st, but I don't know if I'm going to be caught up with this series to be able to read this. I own the first 3 books and still have not read it. So this is book 8 in the Neon God series by Katie Robert, and this one comes out April 1st, so I don't know if I'm going to be ready for it. I think I'm just going to read this series gradually throughout the entire year next year, because I'm not going to have time to binge 7 books before the 8th book comes out, because I'm planning on binging Shatter Me in February, and that's already 6 books. So anyway, this one is called Sweet Obsession, and basically they are dark romance fantasy books based on Greek gods. So I am dying to read the first 3 books, but I just have not gotten to them, and they were recommended to me by one of my book besties, like one of my best friends in real life. I've been friends with her since I was 18 years old, and she told me to read it, but I just have not gotten to it. So yeah, okay. Next one is one of my most anticipated releases as well. This literally comes out right after Encantra. Oh my god, I'm gonna be busy in April. Say You'll Remember Me, then Encantra, and then this one. But since the second book was a letdown for me, I am very excited for the third one, because I think that this one is going to be great, and then I will have completed the trilogy. So again, another complete series in 2025, and that is going to be book 3 in the Powerless trilogy, and this comes out April 8th. I think I said that already. And that is Fearless by Lauren Roberts. You best believe I'm going to be reading this as soon as it comes out. But I'm going to have to read it after I finish Encantra, because I'm actually more excited for that one than I am for Fearless. Because Phantasma, I was absolutely and completely obsessed with it. I just loved it so much. So you best believe I'm going to be reading that first, and then I'm going to be reading Fearless. Oh my god, I'm going to have to tell Monica that I have to read Encantra first because I told her like we're going to be kind of reading the same books at the same time with Onyx Storm and Fearless. But it's okay. It's okay. I am very excited for the third book though. I think it's going to be better because it's going to be kind of similar to the first book, and I absolutely loved Powerless, okay? I am a fan of the series and I really really loved Powerful as well. Just Reckless was kind of disappointing to me because it was a little boring. But, you know, I still gave it a 3.75, all right? Or 3.5 or something. It was not horrible. I just felt like it could have been a novella. Hold on one second. My dog wants to go in my mom's room. Never mind. My mom is doing something else. So yeah, I'm very excited for Fearless, and this says, Peyton and Kai are reunited but face a terrible decision in the thrilling conclusion to the New York Times bestselling author trilogy, romantic fantasy trilogy, and it says, perfect for fans of Sarah J. Maas and the Red Queen, and I've seen a lot of comparisons to the Red Queen about Powerless, and I still have not read the Red Queen series. It's literally sitting next to me on my shelf, and I still have not read it. Let me just grab it really quick. Oh my god. It's right here. Still have not touched these. And I might binge this over Neon Gods. So I really do want to read this. Probably in February. I'm going to be reading like 2 series in February because I think honestly February would be like the best time to read series because I don't really have any new releases coming out in February. Okay, I'm going to have to put that back later. Okay, so the next one, I am very excited for this one as well. Again, we have some incredible releases in 2025, and I literally cannot wait for this one. And that is A Curse Carved in Bone, and this is the second book in the Saga of the Unfated duology. So again, another complete series. So if I don't binge like some series after February, I will be completing quite a bit of series because I'm going to be completing a lot of duologies. So this one comes out May 13th, and I'm literally so excited for this, and this is by Danielle L. Jensen. And I read A Fate Inked in Blood back in August, and I did read A Fate Inked in Blood and 5 Broken Blades like pretty much back to back because I really wanted to read both of them. And I'm literally so excited for the second books because they're both coming out in 2025. I don't know how long 5 Broken Blades is supposed to be. Only a second book has been announced, so I'm so excited for this. I also really do want to read Bridge Kingdom as well. I actually own the first 2 books, have not touched them yet. I really do want to read them. That might be another series that I gradually read in 2025. Again, my series TBR is bigger than like my Siri went off because I said series, but my series TBR is probably bigger than my standalone. So, night, Mom. So this one says, a shield maiden fights to break the shackles of prophecy and to overcome the betrayal of the man who broke her heart in this searing conclusion to the Norse-inspired fantasy romance duology that began with the best-selling A Fate Inked in Blood. You best believe I'm going to be dropping everything to read this book. I'm so freaking excited. And again, this will be another complete duology. And I don't know how many books are coming out in May, but I think I have a couple that I'm going to be excited for. So this one, hold on. I think I'm going to stop soon because I do want to get into bed and do some reading. But again, we have so many releases. There's not too many more, actually. Maybe like another 15. So the next one, I'm not too excited for this one because I did read book 1 back in August as well. And I didn't really love it, but I am kind of interested to continue this series. Okay, it doesn't say duology. It just says book 2 of 2. I don't know if that means that those series are duologies. or maybe just depends on like how well the second book does, that more books will be written. Like that's how some series go sometimes. So it says right now it's book 2 of 2 in the Of Jade and Dragon series. And this one is called The Blood Phoenix by Amber Chen. And I do want to read the second book. The first book wasn't my favorite, but I am intrigued to see where this series goes. So I am going to be reading this, and it comes out June 17th. So this one comes out in June. So maybe May doesn't have that many, but again, like I don't know what order these are in. So this one says, a thrilling and epic silk punk fantasy inspired by the legendary Qin dynasty, perfect for fans of Elizabeth Lim and Xiran J. Zhao, which I believe, no, she didn't write the, one of my favorite duologies of all time, which is Song of Silver Flame Like Night. I love that duology literally so much. But I am excited for this one. I think it possibly might be better than the first one. Some books do have potential to get better. Like, I know that some people say the first book should be amazing, but sometimes series are growers. Like, the only series that I DNF'd this year was, well, besides Entangled with Fae, that just didn't hit for me, so I DNF'd that series. I only read, like, the first 50 pages of the first book, and then I was like, this series isn't really for me. I mostly just DNF on Kindle. I don't really DNF physical books, because I feel like that's a waste of time and waste of money for me. I mostly just DNF Kindle Unlimited books. But the only 2 physical series that I DNF'd was It Happened One Summer, because I could not deal with Tessa Bailey's writing. I think it was actually really bad. And Encyclopedia of Fairies. I read the first book and was so insanely bored that I just DNF'd the series because I could not handle that. Because Of Jade and Dragons was a little boring, but it had potential. Like, I will continue any series that has potential to me. So, okay, then the next book I do own physically. It's kind of an intimidating book. It's literally right here. And I think we're going to stop after this. Why don't they come up when you search for them? Hold on. Okay, I don't think there's a book cover for this one, so I think I have to look it up on Goodreads, because I know it was announced and it's supposed to come out in May, I believe, or maybe it comes out later in the year, and maybe that's why it doesn't have a book cover yet. Oh my god, can you type? Yes. So the second book, it's supposed to come out in May. So I think that comes out 2 days before. What was the other one that I just said that comes out in May? Oh, A Curse Carved in Bone. So this is book 2 in the Will of the Many series, and a lot of people love the first book, and I've been dying to get to the first book, so I think I'm definitely going to read it before book 2 comes out. Like, if there's just first books that I have to read to be caught up with the series, that's not that difficult, but also it is a bit of a chonker. This is by James Inslington. It's actually the Hierarchy series. It's book 2 in the Hierarchy series, and it's called, did I say it's called The Strength of the Few? I might have not said the title. It says published May 6, 2025. It doesn't say it's expected in 2025. So I'm very, very excited for this book. I'm going in completely blind, but I've heard nothing but amazing things about the first one, so I'm very excited for the second one. I mean, I haven't even read the first one yet, but we're definitely reading it in 2025. And then the next book I am probably going to completely listen to via audio, because I only listened to the first one and everybody adores the audiobooks of these, and I'm sure that this one is going to be just as exciting. So far, there's only been 2 books announced. Again, it says book 2 of 2 in the Into Darkness series, and that is Caught Up by Nevessa Allen. I just listened to Lights Out, I believe, last week, or like, was it last week? I think so. And it was just such a fun time that I'm very excited for the second one. That was my first dark romance book ever. And honestly, like, it wasn't even that dark. And I think it was a good, fluffy, not fluffy, but like more dark rom-com. And I feel like it was like not as, I almost feel like Assistant to the Villain is kind of like a dark fantasy. Or dark romantasy. It's like mostly like a subplot of romance, but that book is like a little bit graphic, but it makes it like really funny, but not like Butcher and Blackbird kind of like serial killer, like cannibalism kind of thing. I'm not really into that. I'm sorry. I can't do cannibalism in books. But, this one comes out June 10th, and this one is the second book in Into Darkness. I'm getting a little hungry, so I might stop. I just wanted to film quite a bit of this because I knew it was going to take me a long time to film this. So anyway, I'm very excited for this one. So it says, from the viral TikTok author of the stalker rom-com Lights Out comes the second book in the Into Darkness trilogy. Oh, it's a trilogy. It literally says it in the first line. It did not say that for Of Jade and Dragon, so I'm not sure how long that series is going to be. It says, upping the ante with voyeurism and play club kink. It is dark romance, so very, very excited for it. I think it's going to be such a fun time. I think I'm going to talk about one more right now because I am going to read the first book in this literally in like a half hour. So I do want to talk about this before I start reading it, and then we will continue filming this probably later in the week. But this is the second book. Wait. It's the second book in the Fear the Flames series. I don't know why it's not listed as book 2, but it pretty much says it is book 2. It says the second novel in Olivia Rose Darling's thrilling and steamy romantasy series following Fear the Flames. So it's called Wrath of the Dragons by Olivia Rose Darling, and it comes out July 29th, 2025. This is the book cover for it. I haven't read book 1 yet. I'm literally about to read it, which is Fear the Flames. So I'm going to read this very shortly. I don't know how excited I'm going to be for the second one because I want to read the first one in order to be prepared for the second book to come out. So that is probably the last first book of a series that I'm going to be reading in 2024. And hopefully The Tainted Cup, so I can be prepared for that one in April. But I'm excited for this. I've heard really good things about it. So yeah, that is it for now. We're going to continue this at another time. I don't even know how long this video is. I think it's like over 50 minutes already. So we have quite a bit of new releases to talk about. I might have to split this up into 2 parts because this is going to be a long video. So yeah, that's it. Bye for now. So hey there, guys. So it's quite a few days later, and I wanted to continue filming the 2025 releases that are coming out this year. It's officially 2025 now. I was filming the first half of the video pretty much in 2024. So now we're just going to pick up where we left off. There are quite a few that I have to talk about still. There's, again, so many books that are coming out in 2025. We have so many books to look forward to. So I'm going to talk about these 2 really quick because I have to read the other books in order to read these. So the next one that is coming out, this is actually coming out in April. So I have to add this to my April TBR because there's already like 4 or 5 books I'm so excited for in April. But this is the spin-off series in the Shatter Me universe, and it's called Watch Me by Tahereh Mafi, and it comes out April 15th, 2025. If you guys know me, I keep on putting off the Shatter Me series, but I am going to devote most of the beginning of February to binging the series because that is going to be like my big series for like winter of 2025. I really want to read it. because I want to be ready for the new book coming out, and it's called Shatter Me, The New Republic #1. I believe this is just a like a spin-off of the original series, but I'll know what it is when I get to it. I'm not really sure. But it's supposed to be like a new series set in the Shatter Me universe. So that I'm very excited for. And then we have a very highly anticipated release for a lot of people. I still have not read the trilogy of this though, but that is The Sunrise of the Reaping by Suzanne Collins, and this is the second prequel book to the Hunger Games trilogy. And if you guys know, I still haven't read the Hunger Games trilogy either, and I'm planning to read quite a few classics this year, like The Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, The Hunger Games, and then, like I said, I really want to read Shatter Me. So Sunrise on the Reaping comes out March 18th, 2025. So I thought if I just binged the Hunger Games around like the beginning of March, depending on how many new releases come out in March, I would like to read the Hunger Games trilogy right before this book comes out. People said that Songbird of the Heart, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes was not really that great, and they said that you could pretty much just read this on your own, because obviously you would have to read the Hunger Games trilogy first. Like, that's obviously required. So I am very excited to read it this year. I really have been wanting to get to them for quite a while, so hopefully I can read that as well. Okay, so next up, I'm not even sure what this one is. I have to bring it up because I can't remember if I actually talked about this. Oh, okay. I haven't even read the first book in this. I don't even know if I'm going to read it. But there's also a second book coming out in the Sins of the Zodiac series by the Twisted Sisters, Carolyn Peckham and Suzanne Valenti. And if you guys didn't know, they read the infamous Zodiac Academy series. I have not read the series yet. I don't even know when I'm going to get to that series. But this is set in the same like universe, but honestly, you can read these books on your own accord. You don't have to read Zodiac Academy before you read this. The first book was called Never Keep, and the second book, like I said, is called Echo Fort. It does not have a cover yet, but it comes out April 8th, 2025. I figured I would just mention it. Then the next one is Holly Jackson's new thriller, and I'm going to be very excited for this one. I really love Holly Jackson's writing. I read 4 of her books last year. I read the A Girl's Guide to Murder trilogy, and I also read The Reappearance of Rebel Price. The Reappearance of Rebel Price was one of my favorite thrillers that I read last year. I gave it a 5 stars. I love that book, and that was my favorite Holly Jackson book, so I'm very excited for her new release, and that is called Not Quite Dead Yet. I don't know if I said that. It comes out July 22nd, 2025. It also does not have a cover either, but I am very excited to read that. Again, I'm not going to be going in any sort of release order. I literally just wrote all the titles on my notes. I did not go by release date, so I'm sorry, but this is what you get. Okay, then the next one, I really can't remember what this one is either. Like oh, yes. Oh my God, I am very excited for this. Even though I haven't read the first 2 books yet, I think I am going to read them as well in February. And this is the 3rd book in the Burning series by Evan Winter, and it's called The Lord of Demons. I own the first 2 books, The Rage of Dragons and The Fires of Vengeance. I think I'll have enough time to read them before the 3rd book comes out, because the 3rd book comes out in May. It comes out May 8th of 2025. It's all about dragons. It's very high fantasy. It's not really romantasy, and I'm dying to read them because I know it's going to give me everything that I need dragons wise, and I cannot wait. So I am very excited to get to that series very soon. I'm hoping to get to it in February after I binge Shatter Me. So I really do want to read that. Okay, next up is there's going to be quite a few romance reads that I talk about. I did talk about Great Big Beautiful Life already, didn't I? I think that comes out in April, and then I think a bunch of these do come out in April and May because most of the big romance releases always come out around this time. I'm pretty sure I mentioned Carly Fortune's one already. That comes out in like April or May. I mentioned that earlier. But there's 3 other ones that I'm very excited for. So this one is actually going to be the first new release that I'm reading from this author at the same time everybody else is. Because if you guys didn't know, Catherine Center became one of my favorite authors last year. And I ended up reading 4 of her books. I'm hoping to read at least The Bodyguard before this book comes out, but her new book is called The Love Haters by Catherine Center, and it comes out May 20th, 2025. So that's another May release that I'm going to be very excited for. I can't wait for that. And then another big release comes out for me, and I actually binged all of this author's books, this past summer, so I'm very excited for this one as well. This one comes out May 27th, 2025, and this one is Annabelle Monaghan's It's a Love Story. I've actually been seeing a lot of people getting the review of this, the arcs of this, and posting their reviews already, and a lot of people are already saying they love this. So I think I'm going to love it too because I adore her writing. So I'm very excited for that to come out as well. It's going to be exciting reading all these new releases from these big romance authors, especially because romance is always so popular with everybody else. It's just going to be such a good time. I'm so excited for it. Okay. Then I do want to talk about the last romance on my list at the same time, and then we'll talk about some other fantasy releases that I'm excited for. So this one is one of my favorite authors as well. I read all of her romances, and I've actually read all 3 of them. I read Dead Romantics, The 7-Year Slip, and A Novel Love Story. I did read A Novel Love Story when it came out. Unpopular opinion, but I really liked that book. I actually liked that book more so than 7-Year Slip. I actually related to it more. The 7-Year Slip is actually my least favorite Ashley Poston book. The Dead Romantics is always going to be number 1, and then A Novel Love Story, and then The 7-Year Slip. So I like what I like, okay? Don't yell at me. So her new release is called Sounds Like Love, and it's obviously about 2 musicians. First off, I really don't like this cover. I really don't, but you best believe I'm going to be buying this because she's like an auto-buy author for me. I adore her writing, and it comes out June 17th of 2025. There should be some type of magical realism element to it, so I'm so excited for it. I absolutely adore her books. Okay, next up was kind of like a last-minute addition to the list. Again, I have no idea when this actually comes out. But I just added it to the list because I adored this author's first book, and I believe this is set in like kind of the same world as The Spell Shop, but I am very excited for this book to come out, and that is The Enchanted Greenhouse by Sarah Beth Durst. I read The Spell Shop back in last May, and I absolutely adored it. I gave it a 5 stars. I absolutely love that book. So I'm very excited to read her follow-up novel. Look at this cover. Like, can you not tell me that's like the coziest thing you've ever seen in your freaking life? But yeah, really adore her writing. When I thought I wasn't a cozy fantasy girl, I read that book and I'm like, I love this. I hated Encyclopedia of Fairies. I loved The Spell Shop. It is what it is, okay? But I'm very excited for this release to come out. Did I say when it comes out? I did not. It comes out July 15th of 2025. Very excited for that one. Okay, next up. Again, we have a lot. I don't know if I'm going to read this one, but I'm just going to talk about it because honestly, it's been taking me some time to get back into this universe, but I did read the first book back in, I believe, in June, because I didn't read it exactly right away when it came out. I'll still add it to my want to read because I am caught up with this. And that is Glorious Rivals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. And this is the spin-off duology from the Inheritance games. And it's called The Grandest Game duology. And this one comes out July 29th of 2025. But honestly, I really did not like The Grandest Game. Again, that was one of my most disappointing reads of 2024. But look at this cover. I probably will end up reading it because I really do enjoy Jennifer Lynn Barnes. But I'd rather read the Games Untold, which I still haven't read yet, and then I'll be all caught up with the Inheritance games. I honestly think this is even a more juvenile version of the Inheritance games. One, I think I've outgrown it, but two, I could not literally care less about any of the characters in the first one. So I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to read this. We'll see when it comes out. Maybe I'll wait for some reviews. Did I say it comes out July 29th of 2025? Well, I'm telling you now. To see what people think before it comes out. I mean, I always form my own opinion, but at the same time, like, I am interested in what people actually have to say about it, because I'll be like, if a lot of people are giving it good reviews and saying that it's better than the first one, then I will read it. Okay, next up is the fourth book in this series. There's a lot of series that are called Gods and Monsters, but sorry, my freaking Siri on my phone went off. But this is the fourth book in the Book of Azrael series. It's called the Gods and Monsters, and this one is called Gods and Monsters, but the series is called Gods and Monsters. How many times can I say that? So this is book 4 by Amber V. Nicole. And this comes out May 27th of 2025. So what I am intending on doing, if I have the time, because again, there's going to be quite a few April and May releases that I'm going to be so excited for, along with my own physical TBR. But I would like to binge the Gods and Monsters series before the fourth book comes out. So I'll probably just like start it like a week and a half before. Something like that. I'm not sure, because they're all on Kindle, so it's not like they're going to take that long to binge, but I've been really wanting to get to this series and see what all the hype is about, so I thought that just binging it right before the fourth book comes out was kind of ideal, but we will see. Excited for it regardless. Okay, next book is actually a series that I've caught up on, and I am waiting for the third book to come out, but I did read the first two books very late in the year because I did keep on putting these off, and then I had such a great time with them. So now I'm all caught up and I'm ready for the third book to come out, and that is Accomplice to the Villain by Hannah Nicole Maher. And if you guys didn't know, the first book is Assistant to the Villain, the second book is Apprentice to the Villain. I read Assistant to the Villain at the end of September, and I read Apprentice to the Villain pretty much like a couple of weeks after Apprentice to the Villain came out, and I enjoyed both of them so much. I thought they were such a fun time, so I literally cannot wait for the third book, and I believe this is the last book in the series. This comes August 7th of 2025, which is like 2 weeks before my birthday. So this is going to be the first new release that I'm very excited for that comes out during my birthday month. So I can't wait for that to come out. And I didn't write down this one because it got announced before I made this list, but I have to remember to talk about it. So I'm just going to talk about it right now because this one does come out in my birthday month. And it's another series that I've kept up with. I read all 3 books in this series last year, so I am all caught up and waiting for the next book. And that is the Crowns of Nexia number 4. So it's called The Fallen and the Kiss of Dusk by Carissa Broadbent. Y'all know I'm so excited for this. So yeah, there are quite a few series that I've caught up with that I'm very excited for the next books to come out. I adore these duologies. So this is book 2 in the Shadowborn duet. The first duet, I believe, was called the Nightborn duet, because the first 2 books were about the Night Court of vampires, and the second series, I believe, is the Shadow Court. correct me if I'm wrong, but I know the first one is The Night Court. Anyway, cannot wait for this to come out. So excited. So I have this and Accomplice to the Villain. This one comes out August 5th of 2025. And then right after that, I'll read Accomplice to the Villain. I'm going to eat this up, though. I got through Songbird and the Heart of Stone so freaking fast, you guys. And I literally am just so excited for this book. There's so many good releases in 2025. It's going to be crazy. Okay. Then next up is also another book that I read last year that I'm very excited for the second book to come out. Is that what it's called? Yeah. I'm very excited for this. I thought the first book was really fun, and this is the second book in the Crucible series, and it's by Abigail Owen. The first book was called The Games Gods Play. The second book is called The Things Gods Break. Cannot wait for this book. It's going to be so much fun. I had such a good time with the first one. It was also on Kindle Unlimited. I'm hoping that this will be on Kindle Unlimited as well, which would be great. Why is it not on my... Why are all of these new releases not on my want to read? I'm like continuously marking them as I'm bringing them up. So it comes out September 16th of 2025. I believe that the first one came out around that time. Yeah, it came out in September of 2024, and I read it like maybe not even a week later after it came out, and I had such a good time with it. So very excited for that one. Okay. Then next up is possibly going to be a series that I just read throughout the year. I've only read the first book so far. But the fifth book is going to be coming out, I believe, in September. So this is the fifth book in the Thursday Murder Club series by Richard Osman. And if you guys didn't know, I read the first book in November and I enjoyed it so much. I gave it a 5 stars. The second book is actually on my TBR for this month. It's The Man Who Died Twice. So then I will have read 2 books. And I'm probably going to pick up the other 2 so I can read them because these are just such fun, cozy mysteries. And this one is coming out September 25th of 2025. So very excited for that. I really do enjoy Richard Osman's writing. I think it's so much fun and I cannot wait for that to come out. Then next up, I'm just going to talk about this, but I don't know how excited I am for this to come out. Because I kind of soft DNF'd it. So this is the second book in the When the Moon Hatched series. It's called the Moonfall series by Sarah A. Parker. And the second book is called The Ballad of Falling Dragons. Now this one comes out October 7th of 2025. So honestly, I have all the way up till October to decide whether or not I still want to read the first one. Because I did get the audiobook of it in Book of the Month, and I just could not stand the voice. Like, I don't know, just the voice kept on, like, throwing me off. But I did enjoy the writing style. Like, I was enjoying the story, but every time I tried to listen to it, I'm like, I cannot do this. So I soft DNF'd it. I'm hoping that it will be, I'm pretty sure it's still on Kindle Unlimited. So I probably will read it when this gets closer, but, you know, it is what it is. If I wasn't feeling it the first time, who knows? But I think I'm just going to read it on Kindle. I'm probably not going to listen to the audiobook. And I usually don't have that experience. If I'm going to be listening to an audiobook, I usually would just listen to it and then read it in tandem with the audiobook, but now, I don't know. So, we're going to have to see. Okay, the next one, I still have to read the first book of this, but this one doesn't come out until October. But I do own the first one, and this is the second book in the Villains of Lore series by Jasmine Moss. And this book is called The Bonds of Hercules. The first book is called The Blood of Hercules. I've heard such amazing things about the first book. I'm probably going to read the first book around the first half of the year because I really do want to read this sooner rather than later. I mean, it's only 1 book. And I'm also going to read The Tainted Cup this month because that's the first book in the Leviathan series or something like that. The Bonds of Corruption is like the second book that I mentioned earlier, but I really want to read the first book this month. So this one, anyway, The Bonds of Hercules comes out October 25th, 2020. No, October 23rd, 2025. Excuse me. And it's basically about like a female Hercules, and I've heard nothing but great things about it. I've heard really good things about it. So very excited about that. Then the next one is like a holiday novella, but I'm still going to mention it because I did just binge this trilogy in December, and that is a Belladonna novella by Adeline Grace, and it's called Holly. And this comes out October. Wait, no. Why didn't they adjust the date on here? Because it actually says September 30th, 2025. So it's just going to be a quick, like, Christmas read or something like that. It's kind of like similar to like the Caraval Spectacular holiday novella, I'm sure. So I'm actually very excited for that to come out as well, because as you guys know, I did really love the Belladonna series. So those are most of like the big ones on my list. And then the rest of these are all pretty much, I mean, I've kept up with 2 of these series. So like I said, 2 more Lightlark books are coming out this year by Alex Aster. And if you guys didn't know, the Lightlark series, it's a very extremely popular, I would say upper YA series. I wouldn't say it's just YA. It's kind of on the same level as Belladonna. I actually think it's a little bit more sexual. Like, it's closed door, but I feel like they talk about it a little bit more than they do in Belladonna. I feel like Belladonna is kind of like the perfect upper YA level. But anyway, super excited for these books to come out. I will best be reading them as soon as they come out. There's no announcements on when they're coming out yet. Just Alex Aster did say that there are going to be 2 more books coming out. I think I said this before when I was talking about her romance book that comes out this year, which I'm also very excited about. Yeah, it's not even listed on Goodreads. So, very excited about that. And also, the next Quicksilver book is going to be coming out in fall of 2025. We don't have any other info on it, but if you guys bought, oh, it's right. Oh, we have a date. Oh my God, I didn't even know we had a date already. Okay. So apparently Goodreads says the second book in the Fae and Alchemy series comes out November 18th of 2025. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. If you guys didn't know, I freaking love Quicksilver. Quicksilver has pretty much taken the world by storm. For such good reason. It's a fantastic romantasy book. It was one of my favorite romantasy books of 2024. I loved this book so much. I finally read it in the middle of November, and it ended up being my favorite romantasy that I read that month, because I did a whole romantasy vlog that month, and that was the number 1 romantasy for me. I adored it. I thought it was fantastic. This author deserves all the hype. It's by Kelly Hart, if I didn't say that. She is just like living the dream right now, and for good reason, because her book is fantastic. So I literally cannot wait for the second one. So it doesn't come out until November. So we have a whole lot of reading to do this year. Like I said, we're catching up and finishing a lot of series. So, okay, next up is, I don't know if I talked about this already. I don't think I did. So next up is the 4th book in the Kindred's Curse saga. And if you guys didn't know, the first book is called Spark of the Everflame. And there are 3 previous books. Why am I hitting myself in the face? There are 3 previous books that have come out. I believe it's Spark, Glow, and Heat of the Everflame. And the 4th book is called Burn of the Everflame. This was supposed to come out, I believe, November of last year, but then it kept on getting pushed back, and it still does not have a release date. So I am not going to binge the series, which is also on Kindle Unlimited, until the 4th book is announced. Then I will make the time to read it, because everybody says it's amazing. So I need me a good romantasy series this year. Okay, then next up, we only have 2 more books to talk about, okay? Let's go, Caitlin. So I just wanted to mention this one because I own the first 3 books and I still have not read them. And that is the Red Rising saga by Pierce Brown. I own Red Rising, Golden Sun, and Morning Star. That is pretty much the original trilogy. But I heard after those 3 books, it kind of gets even gorier and kind of like a little bit extreme when it comes to sci-fi. And for me, I'm slowly dabbling into sci-fi. I don't even know if sci-fi is for me. I actually did put a sci-fi on my TBR for January because I ended up pulling that prompt in my January TBR video. And I ended up picking Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir because everybody says that book is amazing. And I have that book, but I think I'm going to listen to the audiobook. Maybe audiobooks for sci-fi would be better for me than the physical ones. But anyway, I do have to read Red Rising eventually. So I was just going to try and read it throughout the course of the whole year. I feel like I'm doing that with quite a few series, like the Thursday Murder Club, Red Rising, probably Done and Dusted. And what's the other one? Go Hex Yourself, like stuff like that, where I'm just gradually going to read them throughout the year. So the 7th book in the Red Rising saga is called Red God. It just says 2025. There is no release date yet, but I'm guaranteeing it's probably going to come out around like maybe October or November, somewhere around there. I don't know if I'm going to even get to it, but we will see. And then the last one, which I really do want to binge this series sooner rather than later, but I need to binge the Shatter Me series over this one. But this is the 4th book in the This Woven Kingdom series by Tahereh Mafi. And it's untitled and there's no picture right now. I mean, no cover right now. But it does say it comes out September of 2025. So I'm very excited to read that as well. I'm not like out of breath. My just voice sounds so exhausted, or it feels exhausted right now, even though I barely talked today. The 5th book actually comes out in 2026. So that is interesting. So I guess it's going to be like a 5-book series. She does write pretty long series. And then there was just one more that I took a picture of. I guarantee this is not all of the 2025 releases that are coming out. There are so many, you guys. But this one I actually forgot to talk about in my series I want to read in 2025. But I am going to talk about the new book. I've heard mixed reviews about this though. But the first 2 books, came out in 2023 and 2024. It's called the Nightshade Crown series by Hannah F. Whitten. Hannah Elf, yes. The first book is called Foxglove King. The second book is called The Hemlock Queen. And I've heard that they're more like gothic fantasy. And the third book is called The Nightshade God. And I don't know, I'm kind of intrigued by it. It comes out July 15th, 2025. I just saw it pop up for me recently. So I don't know, I think it would be exciting. And I think those are all the 2025 releases that I have on my list. If there's any that you guys are really looking forward to, please let me know. You guys know I'm going to try and film as many reading vlogs as possible for these new releases. We will see what we get to. There's definitely plenty that I'm going to 100% be getting to on this list. I could even count them right now. Like basically most of the ones that are coming out in the first half of the year, I'm pretty much going to read almost every single one of those. Did I talk about Jessica Hastings one? Jessa Hastings, I don't know if I did, but I'm not really that excited for it, so I'm not really going to mention it. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, I'm going to get to at least over 30 of these. 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41. At least 40 or 40 something of these releases. So that's a lot of 2025 releases to read. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe. Follow me on my Instagram at TBW819 and check out my Poshmark at the same handle. Please let me know which ones you're going to be reading, which ones you're the most excited for. Do you care? Do you not care? Let me know. And I hope you guys have a great day and keep reading. Bye! Okay, so hey guys. So I have 2 new releases that I forgot to mention in this video. I feel like that's going to be a thing, or like a theme to this year, is that like I feel like I'm not gonna be able to keep up with all the new releases that are coming out, because I already again have a full list and I'm so excited for those. But I have 2 more that I forgot to talk about. But also I forgot to say that I'm going to be reading this book when it comes out in a few days, and I forgot to mention that it was coming out. In my January TBR video, I only talked about 4 new releases that I was excited to read and that I'm going to read as soon as they come out. But I forgot to mention this one. I did mention this in the beginning of this video, but I'm just going to tell you guys, and I'm reading this as soon as it comes out, and that is No Place Left to Hide by Megan Lowley. And like I said, this book comes out January 7th. But I only mentioned Four Ruined Realms, which is the second book in the Five Broken Blades series, which is one of my most highly anticipated reads, and I'm so excited to read it. But I just wanted to mention that. And what's so funny is that my TBR video just popped up on my recommendations for YouTube. That's weird. But anyway, I just wanted to say that first, and then I just wanted to mention these 2 other releases. I might be able to get to one of these on the list, but the other one I'm not really sure, because again, there's like a ton of series on my list this year, and I don't even know if this is a series I'm going to be able to get to, because there's like basically 4 or 5 books in like each series, and I've been really wanting to read it. But I just wanted to mention the new book that is coming out, and this is Blood and Ash number 6 by Jennifer L. Armentrout, and it's called The Primal of Blood and Bone, and it comes out June 10th of 2025. So I just wanted to mention that one. And then the other one that is coming out, actually I'll mention 3 just in case if I end up reading this one as well, because I wasn't sure if I was going to mention this. But the second book is coming out soon, but I've heard very mixed reviews about the first book. So the second book of the Nightfall series is coming out, and it's called The Night is Defying. Look at that. Look at that sprayed edge though in that cover. Isn't it so beautiful? And it's by Chloe C. Penaranda. Sorry if I'm butchering that name. This comes out literally the same day as Out of the Woods, which is January 28th of 2025. I don't know if I'm going to get to it because, again, I already have 5 new releases this month that I'm going to read, that I'm intending on reading all of them. Then I don't know if I'm going to have time for a 6th one when I already have like a TBR that I am so excited to read this month, plus those new releases. So, like, I'm going to drop everything for Onyx Storm anyway, so I don't know if we're going to have time for this. But the first book, like I said, was called The Stars Are Dying, and people said it wasn't that good. But I've heard really good things about this series, and the second book in this series is coming out this year. I don't know why it doesn't show both books when you look it up on Goodreads. Let me pull it up on Kindle, because it popped up on my Kindle like yesterday. What is that one? Oh, that's cool. This one is the second book in the Espirithon trilogy. This is book 2. Okay, so it's going to be a trilogy, so at least we know how many books are going to be in this series. The first book is called Riftborn. The second book is called Duskbound. And the first book, Riftborn, is on my Kindle. I just haven't gotten to it yet. I literally just finished a Kindle read literally 20 minutes ago, I finished a thriller. I'm trying to get through most of my Kindle reads that have been sitting on my Kindle for a while. So anyway, the second book, like I said, is called Duskbound, and it comes out Tuesday, March 4th of 2025. And I just wanted to show you guys one more thing before I go. So those were 3 new releases that I thought I would mention. But also, I didn't realize that this book actually does have a cover. For some reason, it's not on Goodreads, but it's on Kindle of having a cover already. So I just wanted to show you guys the cover, if I could find it. Hold on. I don't know why when you type in the first book in the series, it doesn't pop up both. Like, I know it usually doesn't do that when it's already downloaded to your Kindle, because it's going to show up the first one and says it's already in your library. So anyway, the cover for Echo Fort is on Kindle, and this is the one by the Twisted Sisters. That's book 2 in the Signs of the Zodiac series. So I just wanted to show you guys that. And that is pretty much it. Now, if I missed any new releases, please let me know. But I think I covered a crap ton of them. There's a lot of new romance and fantasy books that I am so excited for. Like, honestly, I think my most anticipated are Onyx Storm. I don't know if I said this already, but it's Onyx Storm, obviously. Fearless, the 3rd book in the Powerless trilogy. I'm so excited for that one because I think it's going to be even better than Reckless, because Reckless was so disappointing to me. The 2nd book in the Phantasma series, I literally cannot wait for that book, which is Encantra. Cannot wait for that. And Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez, of course. She's like my favorite romance author. I cannot wait to read her new book. The 2nd Quicksilver book, so excited for that to come out in September. I think it's November, actually, not September. So it still comes out in fall of 2025. And then there was one more that I was super excited for. Oh, the 2nd Fear the Flames book. So excited for that one. I cannot wait for that one to come out, because I just read Fear the Flames like a couple of weeks ago, and I adored that book. It was one of my favorite books in the entire year. I felt like there was one more. Where is it? Let me not make this video any longer than it actually is. Oh, A Curse Carved in Bone. So excited for that. The next 2 books in the Lightlark series. So excited for both of those. And I think that's it. I think those are the ones that I'm the most excited for. I'm not really that excited for the 2nd Heartless Hunter. I didn't really love the first one as much as everybody else. Sue me, but I didn't think it was that great. I am going to talk about that in my most disappointing reads of 2024, but that's it. Bye!